What is going up, guys? It is Unified Waffle back here with another video, and this video is going to be the start of a new series I'm going to be doing called Storytime. I've seen videos of story times, and I've seen YouTubers talk about things, and I am 15, just to let some of you know. A little bit of backstory: I'm 15. I was born on September the 11th. I was born in 2001. I was born on 9/11. For those of you who are old enough to know what that is, I was born on that day. That's the day I was born. I was born, I can't remember what time. I would have to go in and check and check and see what time it was that I was born if I really wanted to know. But I'm not really worried about that. But today we're going to be talking about my depression and going through depression and hard times. And first of all, I guess like I said, I'll put up some more backstory real quick. Let me turn this volume down real quick for you guys, so you guys can hear a little bit better. First of all, let's see. Okay. So first of all, growing up, I was more of the kind of I kind of classify myself as like more of the blind child, I guess you could say. I was kind of always pretty much usually happy. Didn't really take a lot to get me upset. I was kind of a spoiled child as a little bit of a child. I was a little bit spoiled, not too much, but I was a little spoiled. Basically, as I hit 5th grade, probably going into 6th, I started to develop acne. Those of you who don't know what acne is pimples or, you know, blackheads, whatever you want to say them, like little dots on your face that, you know, those of you that are younger and don't really know, it's something that some people develop. And both of my parents had really bad, and both my genes that I have from my parents, I got from them when it comes down to it for that. So I took it pretty badly. I still have a little bit of it. It's not as bad anymore, but I kind of going into coming out of 5th grade, going into 6th grade, you know, I was kind of the only one that had them. And I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of like always the spoiled child. I was like always wanted to look up the happy side of the things. I didn't really knew much. Like I was kind of I kind of consider myself dumb, to be honest, because like I never really thought about, you know, people and what they say and all that. And then coming into 6th grade, I kind of like had a reality check. Like I just had somebody smack me in the face and say, look, that's not reality. This is reality. And coming out of it, I was made fun of. I was bullied for what I looked like, and it put in a lot of depression into me. That's sort of what caused it. I started growing into liking different genres of music. I was kind of always just like a follower when it came down to it. I listened to what everybody else listened to. I never listened to my own stuff when I was at those times. God damn. Anyway, I just fell off there. Anyway, I probably was coming off there listening to most musics that everybody else listened to. Pop, rap, anything that my friends listened to, that people that I knew listened to. I was kind of just a follower. I kind of did everything that kind of people, you know, did, so I was kind of the follower, you know. I'm sure you guys can picture that. Anyway, I didn't really know much, like I said, and then I started getting into metal music. I got this from my uncle. My parents have always, I was raised off of Metallica and stuff like that. I just never really cared too much for it. I never really cared too much for 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, stuff like that. I never really cared for that until I got older. And I started realizing that music was actually pretty good. And I listen to a lot of that stuff today. But I went through hard times because of simple facts of, at this time, my family was going through problems, and this was hard for me and my sister because we had never really seen our parents like this. But our parents were going through hard times with bills, hard times with all kinds of things. It never really it was just more of harder and harder when it came down to it. It was kind of just, it just got more and more hard, I'd say, the further in the grades that I got, I guess you could say, until like I'm in 8th, I'm going into 9th. But yeah, I went through hard times because of my parents going through hard times with bills. I kind of was just never really, I kind of always was just that kind of blind child, I guess you could say. And I kind of grew up out of that, and I kind of grew out of my ways, and I kind of started paying attention more and more. And I got smarter, and I paid attention more, and I started looking for more things, and I started to realize, all kinds of different things, and about my parents, about me. I had learned, my uncle had told me things that I had not known. When it was coming down to it, I had not known a lot of different things that my family was going through, that was happening. I had not known this stuff, and it put me into more of a depressed time, but I never really had anybody to kind of, help me through it, because my parents were kind of never really knew about it, because I knew, well, I don't want to stress them out anymore. And I'd say for a little while I went through some suicidal thoughts here and there, but I mean, almost every child does. It's normal. If you do, if you don't, that's actually really good. It's not fun. Some people do it for attention. Don't do it for attention. If you're doing it for attention and you're doing it for attention, don't do it. If you don't know you're doing it for attention, make sure you have a reason if you're doing it. And if you have a reason for it, get somebody to talk to about it. That's all I have to say. I didn't have anybody, but I kind of relied back on metal music. That kind of always put my spirits up. And my uncle says it in the best ways, in my opinion. This is the way I look at it. You listen to it. You can listen to the darkest stuff. You can listen to happiness stuff, and sometimes it just makes you realize what you want. I listen to some of the darkest metal that you could probably think of, but I just look at the bright side of it. I listen to the music. It doesn't contradict my actions. I'm not over here committing murder over, a Slipknot song or a Marilyn Manson song. I'm not over here outside of a church with a burning cross. I'm not actually doing that. I'm not doing that. But there's people probably that have done that for Marilyn Manson. If you don't know who Marilyn Manson is, he's the Antichrist superstar. Basically, he's a, he's a big, like, more of metal star that kind of came out of doing stuff with the Antichrist. He kind of dresses weird. If you're younger, I recommend not looking him up. He's not that well for looking up for the younger audiences. But he was. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. So, and same thing with rap. I listen to rap too, but I listen to rap that I listen to is not as popular. Like I listen to people like Hobson, Tech 9, ICP, stuff like that kind of like talks about the real stuff. I used to listen to NWA, Tupac, all them, and it's not to be popular anymore. I just kind of listen to what is, what I feel is helping me through hard times, or what I feel is talking about the truth, because where some people can think of and just, where some people can just listen to whatever and they just don't feel anything out of music. In my opinion, music is my life. Music is what I go off of. That's just my life. I can't, if music would have never come into my life, I probably would have been somewhere either dead, really, really lifeless, or just really, like, a really big druggie. And I'm just being honest with that. Like, that's, without songs and stuff like that, I probably would have put a life to certain stuff like that, and it probably wouldn't have been a good thing. That's all I'll say for another video. But it's, music is definitely my life. That's what helped me through a lot of my depression, and that's what helped me through a lot of the things, a lot of the problems that I was dealing with, a lot of the family problems, because, it's just, there's so many different songs you can listen to that talk about the same stuff that you're thinking about, probably, it's just, there's different genres out there, that I listen to and things, for it, but, like I said, back to what I was saying, so I don't split this off into tasks and stuff, different, start different conversations. I have a problem with doing that. I start off with, one conversation, and then I end up branching off to another, but I'm just wasting more time now. Anyway, Basically, like I said, I was bullied for a long time. I took it, I did not take it lightly, but being the young person that I was in developing something that nobody knew, really, people just, I mean, I used to have people calling to me and say, like, they'd be asking me, like, is it contagious? And I'm like, no, it's not contagious, and it's not, it's just, those of you who don't know what pimples are, basically, all they are is just where dirt and oil will get into your pores, and they just create, pimples. And, those of you who have families who have a lot of them, or you have your family has them, you're most likely going to break out with them at some point in your life. If you don't, you're extremely lucky. But the one thing good about pimples, for those of you who do have it, is you basically, by the time you're like 30, you're going to look like you're 20. Because that just basically means a lot of your oil. Those of you who have a lot of oil in your hair, that's what my family is. We have a lot of oil in our hair. That's where a lot of my acne comes from. If you don't know how to tell, basically, if you don't take showers a lot, or you don't wash your face off a lot, and you have a lot of pimples, it's probably because of dirt. You need to take a shower. you need to take a shower. But all seriousness, though, it was a hard time for me, and I had gone through bunches of different things. Like I said, bullying. I had gone through fake friends. I went through a lot of those. A lot of people who just didn't really care about me kind of used me as a friend. So because I just, like I said, I was more of a blind child. I was used as a friend to a couple of people, where I tried to be the uplifting person and just not pay attention to it. I never really knew. But I was, as I kind of grew older, I was used as a fake friend for a lot of people to make fun of, to gain popularity, because, they kind of would gang up on me. And this is in very, very early elementary school years. This is not just like middle school and stuff like that. This was a lot of the time in elementary, because as I was going into middle school, that's when I started getting into metal. That's when I started talking to my uncle. That's when I started talking to people, and I kind of developed a new, broader thought of it. But I was still going through problems and stuff like that when it came down to certain stuff with, like, being like 6th grade was when I started getting like more suicidal stuff. But it was all just more of likely, in my opinion, stupid the way I was. I really don't know why I did a lot of the stuff that I did, but I never was like for attention. I never did it for attention. I kind of always was like, anytime I ever did it, what I did was I never was one of those people who's a physical, like, suicidal person. I was never cutting, or I never showed it. I was kind of more of just the emotional kind of thing. I kind of just like stuck to myself, but I was still like, but growing out of this actually helped me. It helped me so much. It legitimately helped me so much, because I'm a gigantic class clown when it comes down to it. And the reason why I'm a big class clown is, and I may not show it as much on video because it's hard to get times when you are, but when I get recording software and stuff like that, I'll be recording a lot more and stuff like that.
Bot's trying to kill me.
Just keep it protected on its way to the soldier. I don't care how many holes it blows in you. Do not destroy it.
Hold up. Let's just listen to that real quick. Anyway. Oh, dang. Thing does not let me. Anyway. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing this live, guys, so it's kind of like I'm catching off track here. Anyway, it helped me out with a lot of class clown stuff, though. I kind of came out of this thinking, well, I don't want people feeling the way I did. And that's what it was. I didn't want people feeling the way I did. I didn't want people feeling like trash, So I started doing, I started becoming more, of the class clown more and more. And I started to do more things with, I started to you know, do more things that were class clowny. I kind of became more, you know, interactive and talkative. But if you guys know me, if you met me, I'm a very silent person if you don't know me very well. But any other time, if I'm around friends or something, I'm truly, you know. So.
I'm sure that's patchable.
Screw it. Time to die, robot.
Huh. This is weird. Anyway. Alright, hold up. Anyway. Then we're just gonna secure it. So now it's telling me that I can't pull it over there. Alright. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. So I think I gotta kill it. Anyway. Anyway, on the entire thing though. So we just have to do that.
I'm legally required to pay you for helping me build those in the first place. So please return to the bounty board for your reward.
Well, it was glitched, so. Anyway, that's going off track, guys. Sorry, for those of you who are listening to this more of the thing. This is more of a silent thing, where I'm just kind of listening on the game thing. Anyway, but like I said, I kind of came out of this with a whole new view to it. It was a lot different. I was much more different. I know about fake friends now. I know about fake people. I kind of changed my ways and kind of stuff like that. I still have to do it, unfortunately. Some people don't understand that I'm a person too, and just because I listen to metal and I have acne, that, you know, I have problems or something like that. Stuff to do with people like that, you always will have to. But I'm actually glad to have friends now that actually, you know, are, that know me very well, that don't judge me for certain stupid things that I can't really do anything about. But yeah. Basically, guys, the moral of the story is, don't let people get to you. Because just because they act like they're so much better, they're not. They have just as many problems as you do. They have just as many skeletons in their closets as you do. Nobody has more, nobody has less. Well, some people have more and less, but, you know, that's just weird. We're not going to talk about that. Anyway, guys, I am probably going to start doing this normally as well, trying to be doing some video stories. Hopefully I don't get sidetracked like this again. I'll hopefully be editing some of this stuff out if I do this. Anyway, yeah, so if you guys have any questions, you know, you can just leave them in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them every time. I usually check my videos at the end of them. I usually check them to see. So yeah, as always, guys, this has been our first story time with Unified Waffle, and as always, guys, Unified Waffle out.